Hello and welcome to this latest update of the Building for the Future project. I'm Paul Dodd, and as you can see we start today's tour in the refurbished church building. What a blessing this building has been since we had our first service on the 27th of March. It's great to see it being used all through the week for so many diverse activities, and let's continue to pray to spot more opportunities to share this building with others with the good news and to be able to further worship our amazing God. Although this building has been completed for a number of months, we are still working through a list of small snagging items with our professional teams. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the many of you that have helped with all of the small practical jobs that have been required to turn this building into a home. Some of the jobs have included refurbishing and fitting out the vestry corridor for the flower arranging team, for painting white lines on the paths outside, for hanging and fixing many items, including a whole range of coat hangers at the west end there, ready for the rainy days ahead. And a big thank you also for all of you that are currently watering the grass to try and keep it alive during this crazy summer. So from me and from the project committee, a really big thank you.
Just a couple of items to point out here in church. Some of you may have noticed dark staining here appearing in a number of places on the dais woodwork. Our professional teams are currently analysing this and have confirmed it is not due to damp. Some corrective action will no doubt be required when the root cause has been established. And secondly, we are aware that the lighting level here in the south aisle is comparatively dim where we have reused the existing fittings. We will be replacing the bulbs with more powerful ones once the electrical subcontractor returns to site to fit out the church centre.
Hasn't it been wonderful, virtually since our first service back in March, to be able to spill out of church on a Sunday into this wonderful new courtyard area? Many of you are also continue to spot ideas and opportunities to make further use of this courtyard as we move forward. Recently, at the beginning of June, the resin path was put down, and the main contractor has now fairly recently prepared and reseeded the grassy areas to the north and south of the path, as you can see, and also here at the west end. The grass is growing well despite the hot sunny weather. However, it's likely to be spring until we can allow people to move to use it to enable the grass to become robust enough for heavy footfall. So we must ask you to be patient on that. We're now in the church centre, and as many of you know, it is here that we have faced a number of significant challenges that have delayed the project. We're at the west end of the lounge, just to the left of the toilet facilities.
In order to create the opening for the new ground floor catering kitchen, we need to demolish the ground floor part of this wall. When work commenced to demolish the wall back in March of this year, it was discovered that the wall was standing directly on the ground. There were no foundations. This resulted in work stopping, and there followed a protracted delay whilst the structural engineers and other professional teams designed a solution to support the upper floor. Following sign-off of the design, work has recommenced in recent weeks and is now moving forward at full steam. A number of piles have been driven into the ground together with steel reinforcement and infilled with concrete to provide the base on which to install the steel beams. You can see that the main supporting steel work is now in place and brick infill work is progressing. We are expecting all of the temporary props holding up the first floor to be removed soon, enabling the many trades to start work in this area. The other significant challenge has been the design of the kitchen ventilation system. I'm pleased to confirm this has now been agreed, and the required structural and installation work is now part of the revised delivery programme. Elsewhere in the centre, the new building-wide fire alarm system is installed, apart from the west end spaces. The lift shaft is in place, and conversion of the old lounge servery area into office and store space is well advanced.
So we have a number of very busy months ahead. The latest completion date that we have from the main contractor is sometime middle of October. It's a shame we've encountered these significant delays, but this is always a risk when working with an old building that has seen very many previous development projects. We know this extension will continue to impact those ministries that are heavily dependent on the church centre, and we will continue to work with the contractor and the church family to minimise this disruption as much as possible and to provide as much notice as we can where there will be unavoidable impact. So please bear with us on this one. Not surprisingly, these delays have an impact on the cost of the project. The committee and our professional teams are continuing to work as hard as we can to minimise the impact. God's provision is truly amazing, isn't it? Based on the original budget, we had sufficient funding for the whole of the project. Now, unfortunately, however, we are faced with a small funding gap. If you would like to help bridge this funding gap, the details of how to do this electronically will be at the end of this video, or alternatively you can contact the office for further information. Most of all, however, we ask that you continue to pray for the project and the committee. Let us give thanks for all of God's blessings on this project so far, and for the wonderful upgraded facilities we have here in church. Thank you for watching this update, and I hope you found it helpful and encouraging.